Laserlink is a laser just like a moving light. Now, I'm kind of old school. I come from the early 1990s where we used to just dream of having a laser that could have a moving light or a moving head. And well, our dreams have come true. Fast forward to now, moving head seems to be all the rage. And as I researched this, as I looked into Laserlink, I discovered a company behind Laserlink that was just an expert and a leader in what they're doing. And I found out that they were just producing some amazing products. In fact, the picture behind me is a picture from one of their events. So as I delved into the research, it started to overwhelm me. And I thought, you know what? Why don't I just ask the people that make Laserlink what it is, what it does, and how we can use it. So I reached out to LightLine Technik, based in Germany, who actually produce Laserlink. And I met and talked with the managing director, Marco Stümpel, who agreed to join us today. And it gives me great pleasure to welcome Marco to Argon TV. Marco, thanks very much for being here. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you for inviting me, Tim. Yeah, I heard of your channel. I didn't know that it exists, but I think it's a great opportunity to share laser-related or light-related things here on this platform. So I'm excited to be here. Thank you very much.
And thank you for taking the time, because I know you're a busy guy, you're a busy company, and you're expert in the industry. So I really appreciate you taking the time to share what you have with the community, because I think what you have is something that is very in demand. One of the problems that we always used to have in the old days was trying to coordinate the laser guys with the lighting guys, and you seem to have perfected that. But before we talk about Laserlink, why don't you just share with the community a little bit about LightLine Technik as a company, how long you've been operating, and what you've been doing?
Yes, sure. So I was always interested in physics and lasers. So that was one thing. So when I was, I think, 15, I bought my first kit for a helium neon laser, and I saw actually my first red laser spot in school. And so I was totally fascinated, like everybody is, when you see the laser point or laser beam for the first time, and that really thrilled me. And so I started to read about it and to know how a laser works and all that. That was in the school time. And then later on, when I was thinking of what I'm going to do for business and for living, the second thing I'm very interested in is flying. So I wanted to be a pilot. But at that time, when I finished school in 1991, the Lufthansa here in Germany, they did not have any jobs. So it was the decision to go the other way and to start to study physics. And so I went that way and decided, together with my parents who had to pay for it, whenever Lufthansa comes back taking pilots or educating pilots, then I'm going to go back to Lufthansa. But that never happened. So it was a hobby back then, this show laser thing, and I went to discotheques, saw the laser shows in the discotheques that fascinated me, and the local disco here, they had a laser, ion laser system, and the light operator there allowed me to have a look inside, and so that's went on and on. And but I always thought, okay, when I looked at this laser system here, I thought, okay, now this is made out of wood, so it should be made out of a stable material. And I tried to, I thought I would make it better. And then after 1 or 2 years, I decided to buy a small CNC machine and did aluminium milling and went deeper into the show laser theme. And I looked at companies here in Germany who were building lasers like Tam and Lobo and all these guys. And so I started to offer laser systems also to local discotheques here or do shows. And this is where I founded the company, because you have to be a company and not a private person to be able to sell or to rent out your lasers. I bought my first laser, the Spectraphysics 168, and shortly after, the first coherent pure light, which was the laser back then, and build housings. And we started to sell systems to local discotheques. And they worked fine. And so I was in the middle of a competition, with the big global players. And so that's where it all started. And it went on and on. So we only used coherent lasers. Until today, we have a very good relationship with coherent, later with the OPSL. So we were the first to introduce the OPSL that I found somewhere on the internet. For a forensic application, the coherent tracer, which is for crime scenes to see blood and other liquids. And so I saw that there was a 5-watt green laser inside, powered by a battery. And I called up a coherent guy and said, okay, what's in there? Because I knew that the Jenoptik, the green laser, was already there with Sollinger's Blitz, for example. And I wanted to have something on my own, and started this intense cooperation with Coherent. And so we brought out the OPSL. And so then the ion laser days were gone. But I'm still an ion laser guy. When I look here, I have 2 lasers here, still sitting on a desk here somewhere. And I also dealt with the Saber lasers, 171. So I know more or less all about where we all come from in the laser business, and what we have today with the laser diodes and all this technology. So we were focused on OPSL, sold almost 100 diodes, had great projects, did installations worldwide, and we were a supplier for reselling companies, but also for other rental companies. And so that's what we also still do today. So we build the projectors, sell it out to the UK or to the United States. And that's where those lasers are then used for shows. And so the whole DMX idea, if you're asking me how we come to the DMX now, is that while we were doing shows, we experienced this atmosphere in the front of house that you had to sync yourself with the lighting guys, and it was always a strange situation. I don't know if people can agree, but when you enter the front of house and you come up with your computer, and then also go, oh my God, now this laser guy comes with his funny stuff and the laser stuff. And so there was already a vibe that was not perfect, I would say. And
I think that's funny that you say that, because if it's okay if I jump in.
Sure.
Because as a laser guy, we used to think the other way around. We'd be there and the lighting guys would turn up and we'd go, oh, we don't need the lighting guys, we just want blackout, and then the LED screens come and we don't need them either. So I think it's funny to see for the other side of the desks.
Yeah, absolutely, that's true. But when it comes to real big shows, big events, like here in Germany, like Perukaville or something, it's all super professional. So you cannot show up with any simple or cheap stuff. So it has to be professional. But then the other thing, when it comes to the show, of course, the artists like David Guetta or whoever, they want to have it perfect. I mean, you cannot just try and error and hit some buttons to see if the laser beams might hit the sound. So that's not it. And this is where, and you cannot really solve that by keeping the laser guy separately on one side and the lighting console, the LED and the video on the other side. So it has to be in sync. And then it's not that important if you have a real complex laser effect. I mean, laser guys always want to make it very complex. Now we can do 60K, now fade in, beam brush, whatever. I think that's not, it's important to have a good technology, same with the laser projectors itself, but I think it's sometimes even better if you have simple effects, but when they're in sync and when they fade out with the lights together and change color exactly with at the same time when the light color changes or LED, then it looks all in sync and in harmony, and that's what we want. So this is what we see and what we feel, that it has to be in sync. And this is, for example, the laser ray, the laser bar that you have behind you. It's a very, very simple effect, but it's the simplicity of the beauty of the laser itself, the beam. So it's not complicated. You can just do beams and on and off, fade in and out, and that's it. But we saw the reaction from the lighting guys that, oh, now this is, and suddenly they liked lasers. Sometimes before it was like, oh no, lasers, it looks like a cheap disco effect. But when they have the control on their desk, suddenly this changes. That was a really, really interesting experience that suddenly they loved it. And so that was the first step, more or less. And so this is why, so the message is it has to be on the light console. And it has to be simple. And it has to be, it has to work intuitively. Is that the right word? So it has to, I mean, when you get a new lamp or new moving light, you have to familiarize yourself with that, of course, and, you know, load the fixture and try and this and that, but it has to be fast. And also, and they have to work with it. And then the whole workflow is like it should be. And same with the lasers, with the projectors, and also with Laserlink, is that it's not made for pure laser shows. It's a light effect, and it is by accident. It's a laser, but you cannot do graphic shows with that. So that's not made for it.
Excellent. And I think it's really interesting the way that the two technologies have merged over the years, because I remember. And I like what you say about making things simple. The very first laser I ever had was a gas filled 100 milliwatt air-cooled argon. And
American laser.
Yeah, ALC, yeah.
ALC, yeah.
Yeah, and it had a very small keypad. And it was just very simple. You just push buttons, and it was tunnels, beams, flat scans, just super, super simple. And I always felt that those simple things were the ones that the people liked. You know, you put a flat scan overhead and everyone puts their hands up and they want to stand in the tunnels and everything like that. So I totally agree with you that keeping it simple is really nice. And also that, you know, the integration of the two traditionally has been the laser man and the lighting man, and to get them to work together in sync has always been a challenge. So I think it's really fascinating and very timely that something like Laserlink has come out. And in a moment, you're going to actually demonstrate how we can get to play with it and what it does and how we can use it, yes?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, there are options to control lasers by DMX. That's nothing new. So,
yes.
But it's more or less that you have always something in between. So we have the Laserlink and we have the projector, and that's it. And there's nothing special converter in between, like, I don't know, some software or a laser computer where you just trigger effects. That we tried that as well, but first of all, it's more expensive. So you need that stuff, or you need to have other stuff as well. You need to do software updates. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. So you come to a show and suddenly something pops up. Now you have to make an update right now. So that was something that would really screw things up. And certainly a light operator wouldn't like that, you know, these things pop up. So it has to be simple. It has to be, it has to work. And, but then it has to work very, very good. So give you one example, the resolution of the channels. When you have in a big stadium and you just want to move a circle left and right, the resolution for the output is really important, because when you sometimes in some songs move it very, very slow, you see this thing, and so that it's not really, really smooth. So this is why the resolution has to be really high, because the lights also move very, very smooth, and it has to be at least as good, because otherwise no light designer or light operator would want to use it. So if it looks kind of crappy. So, and this is how the approach was, and still laser is a special thing. You cannot, you know, it's not a moving light, but we're trying to be as close as possible, because, you know, laser safety is something that we have to take care of. If on one hand you want to keep it simple, you have to, on the other side, respect laser safety and things like that, especially if you're doing shows with hundreds of watts. So this is why we integrated a few safety features, but I come to that a little later.
Okay, so in a moment we're going to take a look at Laserlink, but first we're going to take a quick break. But just to let you know, I'm having a very interesting conversation here with Marco Stümpel about Laserlink, and we'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to Argon TV. I am having an absolutely enthralling conversation here with Marco Stümpel about Laserlink, and basically we are combining lasers to lighting desks. So Marco, why don't you give us a walkthrough of what it is that Laserlink actually does?
Yeah, so yeah, we have to talk a little bit about the hardware, but very, very short. I don't want to tell boring things here. So I here have a small projector where the Laserlink controller is integrated. So just one channel for other manufacturers, or we built that as well. Into the projector, just the board and the display. And you see here, you can, let me see, change the DMX address. You have this small thing that you need because your finger is sometimes a little bit too big. So you can put it in here and pull it out so that you can do all the changes like DMX address, ArtNet, scan speed. So this is something you have to do first, and because you want to have your projector set up correctly, that you can then just use it. And so this is why this touch screen here is integrated. And here's the DMX ArtNet. You have the scanner set up. You have test pictures. So without anything connected for safety or for setup, you can turn on a test pattern for the scanner. You can do a geometric correction, for example. So if they're not all really well aligned in the rig, you sometimes have to rotate, and if you want to project something for abstracts or something, sometimes the screen is not really a square, then you can do geometric correction. So there's a little bit more than the simple. You already maybe see that it's a little bit more complex than a simple DMX to ILDA something. So there's some intelligence in here already. You can use it, but you don't have to. So what else do we have? You can also save or load setups. So if you go like, now I have a parameter set for really flat a test pattern. If you want to scan just of the crowd, you can prepare that and save it, or load it if you want. What else do we have? The system setup, like network settings, calibration, touch screen, factory settings, error log, etc. And also the color calibration, where you can change the fade in and out of the Laserlink. So let me just activate
Sure.
that. I don't know if you see that behind me.
Yes.
I'm going to take this away now and go to the actually working laser projector here. So can you see that? So what you see there is a line and RGB, and then you see another flat line where you would see how the white, in this case, would fade in and fade out. So we have on the right side, we have 100% brightness, and it goes then to the edge. And you see if you have some issues with green, red, or blue, or orange, because this is just not RGB. So if you have projectors like with the OPSL with extra yellow or extra orange or whatever, you can do that separately for each line. So, and if I change now this, you know, this line that goes from one side to the other, you go into color calibration. I'm just going to disalign that now. Okay. I hope you can see that.
Yes, yes, that's great.
So I'm taking the green, let's, for example, the threshold, and go up with that. So that's the left side of this graph. Can you see?
Yep.
That it goes up, or it can also go down. See the green? So the green line goes down. Can you see that?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Okay, and then you can also go into the middles, because sometimes the diodes, it's not a linear fade in. So sometimes they do something like that. So you can also change the middle calibration. You see, then this line makes a bow now. See that?
Yep.
And you can do that with all the lines you have available. So you can, once you have set that up, you're sure that your crappy, I don't know, whatever laser, if you have a really cheap laser, so this fade-in fault, let me call it that way, would be corrected by this calibration.
Cool. So and I noticed that as you're moving that green line, it's actually affecting the fade out on the white line.
Yes, it does. It's a little bit pink. I don't know if you can see that. So
yes.
When the green threshold is very low, of course, then blue and red would fade in earlier. So so then and you would see that now if you leave this, that the fade in and fade out would be actually, it would fade in pink. But we don't want that. So this is why I'm going to, because I need this for the demo, and you see with this laser, which is of course one of our products, has a really, really straight line and fades in really, really good. I'm just going to bring that a little bit down. And we tried that with other lasers, really cheap lasers, and yeah, you can really mix them. You know, 20 watts with 30 watts in the middle and everything, and it really, really fades out as good as possible. With this calibration, it really fades in white and fades out in white. So this is what the lighting guys want.
Yeah, so I was going to say, so that would help reduce. I know when some of the lasers fade out, they go through colors.
Yes.
And you know, let's say you got a red effect, and then it shows, as you fade out, it shows a blue. You absolutely don't want that, you know. Is that what that?
Well, something really, then something is really wrong then. So so if you're using multi-line, this is for orange, yeah. If you want to fade in orange, yeah, always imagine a stage with moving lights. When they move the dimmer up, and then it fades in orange. So that's with all the lights and LED, and you don't want that with a laser.
Yeah.
And my experience is that once something is wrong with the laser, so if it fades out on the threshold already in red and then goes to orange, they say, oh no, we don't want that. It's no, we cannot use the laser. It's not brilliant enough, or it does this fault, and then you're out.
Yes.
And because the lighting, the light designers especially, and also the artists, they see this because it's visible, and then you're out. So you have to. So this is why we decided to have this implemented to avoid this, because when it's not really, you know, smooth moving, fade in out in a proper way, then they don't want to use the laser, and we want the lighting people to use the laser.
Absolutely.
So this is what we integrated it.
Yeah, that looks great.
So I give you now going to the operation. I will show you some simple features because I cannot show you everything. I would bore everybody, so I don't want that. So Reimer will help me here, and so we set up 1 or 2 lasers here, 2 lasers, but we're going to start with 1 laser and just fade in a simple circle. So there it fades in. And first of all, it's when you see at the channel list of the Laserlink, you will see that it looks quite as like a moving light. So we really talked a lot and tested with professional lighting guys. How do you want the order of the channels? This is where it starts, or how you want the rotation. Where is 0? Where is left? Where is right? And so this is why the shutter and, you know, pan tilt, all these things, and to be as close as possible to moving light. So first of all, we have the gobo channel. Like you have the gobo wheel in a moving light. So it's the gobo channel. I don't know how many gobos we have, Rama?
The ability of 255.
So we can go up to 255 gobos.
Wow.
And then where the gobos are, some of them are fixed gobos, like you see here. And we also we looked at what kind of gobos are in professional moving lights. So we also tried to be as close to the shapes they already have, because if they make a star gobo, we want to have a star gobo that looks as much as this, you know, as the gobo in a moving light.
Yeah.
And also, if you use the prism effects, how can we solve that? And we have some so-called modifiers where you can change the gobo, but I will talk about that later. And in addition to that, some of those gobos are animated gobos, because it's a laser and we want to have a sine wave that moves like a sine wave. So I mean, with fixed gobos, you can do all the rotation stuff, but here you see one of the sine waves, and you can change the speed of the animation and do laser-like effects, because at the end of the day, it is of course still a laser. So we have them as well. Then we have the so-called modifiers, where you can like, I don't know, double or scratch it a little bit to make it more like a Lumia prism effect, gobo wheel stuff, whatever. And I don't know if we can do that.
And how easy is it to actually move this effect, like up and down, left and right?
Well, you go to, yeah, you go to pan tilt, and we can do that. Position, you go to position, yeah, just move it left, right,
cool.
And that's it. And so you see it's cutted now on the lower edge. This is something you can calibrate. Do you want to have it open? Do you want to have it clipped? Or do you want to have it fade out? That's also something. Nice. This is also that you can choose from. Because sometimes it looks better when it hits that line hard, and sometimes it looks better when it fades out soft. So you can decide to do that. So then we have, what else do we have? The color, very simple. You can go to the color picker, like all the lighting guys do. They, you know, when they try and they go to the color picker. So you can adjust that. And in addition to that, same as in the gobo channel, we have some special laser effects that you cannot do with a moving light, but are in addition, like the animated gobos. Here in the color program, we have already a color program where you can, now the circle is half green, half pink. You can have it, the separation of the colors, you can have it soft. It can move, you can decide if it should go right or left. So you can make nice effects taking just a simple color, a simple tunnel, and let it stay over the audience, above the audience, and just play with the colors. You can also say, okay, I want to have black together with my chosen color. So that's also nice. You have whites. This is, you know, the idea of the prism, extra prism wheel.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Here in the color program. So what else do we have? We have shutter, strobe channel. What's this now? So this is shutter, and at a certain point it starts to strobe, like the things you need on a big stage.
Yeah, I think this is very nice how it's bringing everything into one package, so that, you know, one lighting designer can control everything.
Yes.
And in a very simplified, and this is designed for live use, yes, rather than pre-recorded. Or can you do pre-recorded?
Yeah, like with the moving light. If you have a Grand MA3, the light shows are all pre-programmed for the closing show for big festivals. It's a moving light, and they program it before as well. Or if you want to pre-program it, it's now integrated in the Depends 2, and it's for free. Unlike with other products, you have to have a I don't know, beyond connected or somewhere in the network, or if you want to use a DSP, you actually have to have a DSP there in the network. And we decided now we want to generate creativity, so that the light operators and the designers can use the Laserlink unlimited without having anything connected. And then you can pre-program that in Depends 2, using as many lasers as you want. And we have been working with Depends. I know those guys already for 20 years. And we tested a lot. And when you pre-program it, connect your Laserlink, and you connect your laser, it behaves exactly like in the simulation. And I sent you this link before, where our friend Lars Galka made a short video already, especially with Depends and the Laserlink. Maybe you can show the link later on. And
yes.
So to make it as simple as possible and also affordable as possible for the users.
Awesome. And I like what you were saying just now about, you know, all I need is a Laserlink and away I go. That's very nice. I think, especially for the you know, some of the software programs that control lasers, they're really expensive, and a lot of the lighting designers, wow, you know. So I think that's a great tool. So fantastic. I think that's a great overview of what you've been doing, and it looks like a great little tool. So we'll take another short break. And I've been talking to Marco Stümpel from LightLine Laser Technik. We'll be back in just a moment. Okay, so welcome back. I am here with Marco Stümpel from LightLine Laser Technik, and we've been talking about Laserlink, and it looks absolutely fascinating. And I think the simplicity of how it's used is very attractive. But you had something else that you wanted to share about it, correct?
Yes, and it's unique. So right now we have one small projector connected, doing just a circle, and you can have a second laser, or how many lasers as possible, or if like you want. But we thought that if you want to make a flat line, you have a show with a song where it's really a soft melody, and then you want to make time beams on the beat. You have to then decide or create really the cues, and so we thought, no, we don't want to prepare the cues. It's all in real time. It's all calculated on the processor. We just add a second software channel that is completely individual, and you have the complete channel list once again on top of this, and just fade in or just use a second object, second gobo, rotation, whatever. They're completely independent from each other. And then you can do that, you know, have this soft flat line or tunnel or whatever, or wave, and just then do the beams. And it was really, we're very proud of how the output is, because normally when you fade in a second object, we all know that with the track, then the scanner speed goes down and starts to flicker and all that. And this is something that surprised many people who worked with this already, that they almost don't see any difference when the second object comes in. So the circle stays with its frequency as stable as possible, and then you can do whatever you want with the second gobo.
Yeah, I think
this is also unique.
I think that's great. And as he's fading it in and out, I can see there's almost no noticeable difference in the two. And it's important, because one of the things that I've always been like about is when you put up a second image, it kind of pulls the other one in.
Yes.
So I think that's great. Do you actually have a laser link there that we can actually see?
Yes. So it's either integrated in the projector, you saw that already, or this is the standard. It's a small box with also you can put it in the truss. If you have a laser somewhere, you don't want to fix it, put on a safety and all that. So the hardware is very stable. It goes in. Here goes a true power con in, and on the other side you have ArtNet network, DMX in and out. One also nice thing about the network. So when you have to make or change the values, for example, the size or the general horizon of the safety zone, or point out a camera position, you can do that as well. You can actually spot out a camera when there's a camera somewhere. But you can also use a web browser to change all the values. So you don't have to climb up and push buttons on the system. You can just connect your laptop and do all that via the network. So here we have two hardware ELDA outputs. So right now we're just using one. So with the two software channels, keep that in mind. And there's just another one. We can also build it in a rack with 10 channels or 16 channels or whatever. So this is just one option. Then you have the touch screen here. And you can use your finger using the touchscreen, or you can also pull it out and do all the calibrations here. So this is what the hardware looks like.
I really like that you've got a screw-in pencil or pointer, because you know it's going to get lost.
I know, but you can use your finger, but it's nice to have one.
Sure.
One there. But you can also use a pen or something. So it's not an electrical touch thing. So it's by pressure.
Okay, great. And you know, I think this is going to cause a lot of interest in the industry. And when we release this video, I think a lot of people will be interested in it. So how do people get in touch with you if they want to contact you? Because I mean, we can't give them all of the information about Laserlink in a video like this. You know, they've really got to talk to you. How do they get in touch with you?
Yes, well, they can visit our website, www.lightline.de, but we have a special, and that's the more important website. It's www.laserfixture.de. And so there you can register and download the newest fixtures or the software for the different consoles, updates. You can download the manual, channel list, etc. And as I said, it's integrated depends. So if you do the simulation stuff, so then the guys from Synchronom are the guys to talk to. And yeah, so just we can also send out demos. So for lighting designers who want to test this, or laser, serious laser manufacturer can also test it. They can visit us. We have a demo studio here. We can do tests, and we can rent it out and whatever, or just buy one. And so you can choose when you want to buy one, between 1 or 2 channel. And if of course the 1 channel, it's just a software thing. So if you want to go later on to use the 2nd channel, you just type in a special code, and then the software is updated to dual channel operation.
Okay, well, Marco, I want to thank you and your whole team for putting this all together and showing Laserlink to us. I think it's a great tool, and I really appreciate you being here. Before we go, because we're about to wrap up, I'd just like to ask you, what's your secret to success? I'd like to ask everyone.
My secret of success, maybe it's not a secret, but always be honest and be correct. Do it with passion and do it as good as possible. Once I wrote on my booth in Frankfurt, there's just one way to do things, and that's the right way. And so maybe that tells it all. Yes. Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for your time here today. I really appreciate not only you, but as I said, the whole team behind you that have put this all together and sharing this information. I've been having a wonderful conversation with Marco Stümpel from LightLine Technik, based in Germany, about Laserlink. And we'll be back with another very exciting episode of Argon TV very soon.
Thank you very much, Tim.
Thank you, too.
Bye-bye.